All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Kevin Harris. It is another episode. It's episode 16 of the Benchwarmer podcast. And we've got a great guest with us tonight. We're going to chat with him for about 25 minutes on the past season, where he's headed, what we're doing. And then we're going to just talk other sports. We'll find out. We're going to get some predictions from him on the Stanley Cup playoffs, figure out who he thinks is going to win and why it's Tampa Bay. So we'll go into all of that. But please welcome to the show, Zach Sargis. Zach, how are you?
Doing really well. Yeah, thanks for asking, and thanks for having me on the podcast. Appreciate it.
No, it's great. And so it started. So this podcast I actually sat dormant for a little while. We got a company that has two other podcasts that took the focus, and then when I started working for the Seawolves again this past year, we decided, hey, let's get this fired back up. Seawolves are coming back. I know quite a bit about hockey, so we're going to stay hockey focused. So we've got you this week. Next week we got Justin McDonald, and then the week after that we've got the voice of the Pensacola Ice Flyers, Josh Kay, that's going to be on with us. So we're gonna hockey it up for a little while in the off season and try to get things boosted up for next season. So, okay. On that note, so you spent some time with Columbus and Carolina last year. So Tell me a little bit about how your year was with the in the FPHL.
It was awesome. Yeah, so got to start off in Columbus, which was awesome. Where I think they obviously you saw how well they did, right? They made it pretty far. They had a really good room of guys, and they treated everybody really well. So it was very professional atmosphere. So that was awesome. And then got to meet some amazing people too along the way, as far as boosters, things like that. There's Harley Davidson, which there's a sponsor there, and got to meet again some awesome boosters. And then so that's where I started. And then getting traded over to Carolina, I probably couldn't have handpicked any two better places to play. Winston-Salem on its own is awesome. There's a ton of stuff to do. It's beautiful. I'm more of a hiker, so
right.
There's Blowing Rock, a bunch of other places to go go hang out and hike. So my time there was awesome, and got to learn a lot about minor pro hockey and just myself, really.
So you went to college at Robert Morrison.
Yeah.
Or Morris. I'm sorry, Robert Morris.
Either or.
But so you're from Illinois. So you've had hockey in the North. You've played down in the South. Tell me a little bit about the differences maybe in the fans or the atmosphere. Is there a big difference between it in the South and the North?
I feel like this is a leading question, and I feel like you know that too. The South is unbelievable. So again, being able to play in Columbus and Carolina,
right?
Both are significantly more South than Illinois, and then Mississippi as well. Mississippi was when we went there into the Coliseum,
right?
It was the most fans I ever played in front of. So you can tell automatically people care and they love hockey, and it was awesome. As far as where North, it's I don't know. I'm not a big English guy, but there's so much hockey, and there's a lot of different schools and training, and it's a lot more prevalent. Where as far as the fan base, I feel like there's a lot more energy and good stuff as far as in the South goes.
Yeah. So what I guess where I was going to head with that was in the North, it could possibly be considered oversaturated with hockey. So in the North, you got multiple teams within a certain area, and down in South, you got that one team in that one area. So if you're gonna root for hockey and be a hockey fan, that's the team you're gonna root and fan for. So it's an interesting take, because when I talked to Coach Esposito from the Seawolves, of course he played in Mobile in part of his ECHL career, and he was talking about the best thing was he was able to wear shorts and flip flops going to the rink. So
what a life.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun and it's neat because I've had the pleasure um, of working with the original Seawolves team, and then I worked with the Mississippi Surge that were part of the SPHL, and then got my taste of the new regime of the Mississippi Seawolves, and it looks like they're bringing back the fun and hockey's fun no matter where I've gone and seen a hockey game. Every venue in the South that I've gone to it's just been fun to watch. And
Yeah.
hockey itself for people down here who are either watching the replay or listening to the audio version of this, if you've never been to a hockey game and you think, okay, it's I don't understand it and offsides is confusing to me and all that kind of stuff, and why were they down there but they're facing off down at the other end of the ice, look it up and go see a game, because I'm telling you, fast paced, fun, exciting, and what some Southerners say it's not soccer on ice. So, so I know hockey's not your only. I mean, and it sucks, but minor league hockey, you gotta have other things you do outside of hockey. So,
Yeah.
what do you do outside of when it's off season or whatever?
Just hang out on the couch. No, no, I honestly, so I have like a full-time job doing software sales. And
Nice.
then during COVID, I was like super fortunate. It's like me, my buddy, he plays for Adirondack in the East Coast League. My brother, we started putting together um, like skates in our own company for like hockey training and stuff like that. So just kind of like finding ways to like fill that gap and still be on the ice, because that's where I love to be,
Right.
honestly. So um,
So
work,
you're part of training like the children?
yeah.
Or
So last year was mostly like 14, 16 year olds, kind of like that Bantam to U16 age was like
uh-huh.
primarily who we worked with. But my brother and I, we've been like coaching hockey camps for forever. It's like a camp called Simply Defense, and they have camps all over besides the South, obviously. But that's what we like do over the summers.
I got you.
Yeah.
Just keep yourself on the ice as much as possible.
Yeah. Right.
So we kind of talked before we got on here, and I'm going to let you hash into it a little bit. So the season's over with. Um, you're in the off season. What are your plans for next season?
Plans for next season? Yeah, don't have any.
Okay.
I think Carolina had released me. So as far as like being open, I'm not sure where I can go. Might try to do a few different like camps, see where I can make it. Would be awesome. I mean, as far as places to play, Mississippi was
I
definitely
was,
top of the list. So
I mean, I was going to be a little biased on that. I was like, you can come on down to
yeah,
Mississippi,
right.
so and hang out with us and have a good time playing hockey. But speaking of hockey, so the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs are going on. You've got Florida and Tampa Bay, and you've got St. Louis and Colorado. Now, I'm a Tampa Bay fan. I'm also a Nashville Predators fan, and Colorado just dismantled the Nashville Predators. Colorado, I would think, is probably the best team right now in the NHL. But being a Tampa Bay fan, and they were able to squeak by Toronto and be able to beat Florida last night. So, do you have a prediction for the actual Stanley Cup Finals?
That's. I feel like you and me are kind of on the same page, but I see Colorado there on what is that side? The west side, right? Come from the west,
Yes.
and then I feel like a good series to watch right now is Tampa Bay and the Panthers. Those are like two good teams, and probably people would want to kill me if they didn't hear me say Carolina at least once. So like
Right.
those three teams to watch from the East are probably like pretty big teams to watch. But I think whoever comes out of that East side is going to have to face Colorado, and they've been dynamite
Yeah.
all
They,
season. And so, I mean, a three-peat for Tampa Bay, I feel like that's
that'd
super
be
tough, but maybe they could do it. Who knows? But
right.
it's nice to see Panthers make it out of the first round and hopefully like keep going. And then Carolina, it's been a
I
while.
mean, Carolina's a tough team too.
Yeah. When was the
So
last time they won? Like 2006 or something like that? I'm not sure, but or 2004. But they're due for one.
right. And so I live in Florida currently, here in Pensacola, and it's weird to me still to look at the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs and you see Florida and Tampa Bay playing each other. And it's just, what, 20 years ago, you would have never thought that anything like that would ever happen. But
Yeah.
there they are, and especially with Tampa Bay being a two-time champion.
Yeah.
So that's good stuff. What other sports do you like to watch? Or do you? Because I know some hockey players, they don't do anything but hockey.
No, it's cool. Like I appreciate all types of like athleticism, and I'm not like super focused. I don't really spend my time to try to watch anything else.
Right.
But football, Saquon Barkley from New York, like
Yes.
that guy's an animal, and
He
like
is.
you can appreciate any sport you play, whether it's tennis or whatever it is. You can appreciate that type of guy. Golf is awesome.
People make fun of me for watching golf. I'll sit in front of the TV and watch golf all day long.
I'm assuming you golf a little bit.
Well, I do a little bit. I'm really absolutely no good at it.
Yeah.
But I do a little bit, and that's why I told people, I was like, once you play the game and you see the kind of shots that these guys make, you know that's not an easy thing to do.
No, like being inside the bunker and putting it 3 feet from the hole. You're like, wait a second, that was sick.
I can't even do that on the damn video game, much like in real life. So, but any baseball?
A little bit. So in Chicago, Chicago's like a big sports market. So there's the Cubs and there's the Sox. So recently I went to a Sox game, but I would say a little bit more of like a Cubs fan. And then I think we're gonna go to like a few games throughout the summer, so that'll be nice.
How about soccer?
Hockey
on grass.
I'll watch soccer, but I'm not going out of my way for it.
I got you. So if what about you? Okay, you said you were a Saquon Barkley fan. Are you a Bears fan?
No. I won't try to claim anybody. I'm just.
I got you. Yeah, I have to claim the New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
So yeah, my grandfather, who was a huge Chicago Cubs fan, was an original season ticket holder for the New Orleans Saints. So the family's been born and raised. If you don't like the Saints, you're not in the family. So it's just the way it goes. So when the camp that you do or the training that you work with, how can somebody get involved with that? Is there a website they can go to or anything like that?
Yeah, pretty simple. It's just TNP, the next prospect. So tnphockey.com. And then if anybody is like interested in camps, there's like a contact form right there and you can fill it out and come to one of our camps. And so just building up the programs and stuff like that itself. So that's essentially, if you wanted to get into it, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that as well.
So I saw you make I saw you make the joke when I had you booked for the show, and then we had Justin McDonald booked for the show, and you're like going. Okay, so real quick, Justin McDonald's on next week. He's the MVP of the league.
Oh, is that good?
And his team won the championship.
Wait a second, is that good also?
And you're like, well, we're going from a champion to a bench warmer. And I'm going to tell you this, and here's my opinion on it. And I don't care what level of any sport you play. If you are playing a sport and you are playing at any kind of level, and with hockey, there are so many different levels. But if you're playing, you're an athlete, and I idolize you. So I went to my brief history was in football.
Okay.
I played soccer, football, and baseball. I had a scholarship offer in football and a scholarship offer in soccer, and I chose football, and I lasted one season in football. So I have to go to college and to keep grinding with the sport you love. I have so much respect for that. And what keeps you grinding? even when you have the moments like you said, Carolina released you after the season. So when you have those moments, what keeps you grinding and saying, "Hey, keep going"?
Uh, Man, that's an awesome question. I think it's just that specifically is like for me, you got to keep going. Like whatever happened yesterday, it happened. Like you got to get on with it and keep moving. So like Carolina releasing me and stuff is, it's fine. They felt like they had other things to pursue, but for me, it's like, what did I not do well enough, and like what could I get better in? So, um, me trying to like critique my game or like get a little bit stronger, faster, quicker, things like that. And I think like the pursuit of trying to get better, uh,
Right.
and not like try to be like anybody else, but trying to be like the cliche or whatnot, but be the best version of yourself. It's like that's what keeps me going. Is like when I come back, I can kind of maybe prove these people wrong, or
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if you knew this or not, but I had a older brother who was playing in the league, and he's played in like higher leagues, and everybody's like, "Man, that guy's awesome!" Like blah blah. I was like, "All right, well, like kind of let me show you what I'm capable of too."
Right.
So it's a mixture of things, but there's always like a driving factor for me, and those are a couple of different things for me.
Yeah, I've gone through life in several different situations with a little chip on my shoulder of, "Hey, he can't do that." Oh yeah, well, let's watch and let's see what happens. Um, so on that note, I forgot where I was going with this, so I'm just going to ramble on here for a second till I remember. So yeah, I was going to ask. So when you played with Carolina, and I want to say that I knew I did this when you played in the Coliseum.
Yeah,
Weren't you one of the 3 stars of the game?
I was not one of the
I
three.
thought you were.
No, no,
I
no. It's all good.
swear I announced your name.
I wasn't one of the three stars of the game. I think it was there was 3 games in the Coliseum, right?
Yes.
All right. So one of the 3 games, that second game, it was Carolina versus the team I got traded from, which is Columbus.
Right.
So the first period, we went like nobody scored. It was crazy.
That was the
It
teddy
was,
bear toss game.
yeah, still
We
very,
were all sweating going, "Oh my God, we may not be able to toss these teddy bears tonight."
still very fast paced in that first game, or that first period, and then that second period, Joe Pace and Schmitty had this
Oh,
unbelievable tilt, and it was awesome. Like him and Barr too, which both of those guys I got to like spend some time with, and
right.
they're unreal guys, and happy that they're pursuing like this different avenue. But they both kind of went Schmitty that earlier in that game, like Barr did too. Maybe it was in the first period.
Yep.
I think it was maybe like I don't know. It couldn't have been like a minute after Pace and Schmidt had a minute and 30 tilt that we had Schnapp, who was down the corner, pass it up to me off the wall, and then I scored for the teddy bear toss goal. So that was awesome, an experience of itself. So never thought I would. Oh, hold on, wait a second. I didn't even realize that it was teddy bear toss night. It was like in the locker room, everybody's like, "All right, who's getting the first one? Like the first one's huge. Like somebody's got to get it." I was like, maybe me. And yeah, for me to score, and then I was just pumped in itself. And then for it to be teddy bear toss, I was like, that was money.
It took us forever. It felt like it took us forever to take those teddy bears off the ice.
Yeah,
So
but
that's cool. And I mean, that's got to be a fun experience. I've never, in my sports career, I've never had anything where I've been lucky enough to be something like that where you trigger it, and that's pretty cool. That's exciting.
well, yeah,
And
it's pretty rare in itself. I feel like not many. I don't know any other sports like football, soccer, whatever. We're like, all right, you score this like touchdown or goal or whatever, and then just people are gonna throw like stuff on the ice.
well, yeah, no, and I mean, in hockey, you've got it. You've got it with almost every team does a teddy bear toss type game, and
Yeah,
then you've got hat tricks where hats end up getting thrown on the ice. And I think it was the other night. One I can't remember what team it was, but they had 2 different hat tricks on the same team.
no
And
way.
the second time they got the second time the guy got the hat trick, there was like 3 hats thrown on the ice because they had already thrown all the hats on the ice. So that was interesting to watch, and that's something you don't see very often either. So, well, I tell you what, I kind of did this on on a whim and for a reason. You and I became friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
And we've had some conversations. I think you are a great person, and I really want Mississippi to bring you down. So, soon as this is over with, I'm going to download a copy of this and send it to the Seawolves and say,
I
okay,
appreciate that.
here's my pick. So do you guys watch? So in my past with hockey players love to party.
No,
Some of them do. You have your moments, and I've witnessed it. I used to be a bouncer at a bar that the Seawolves would come into after the game, so I've seen fun. So sometimes I call the hockey players the rock stars of sports. How much film is watched? Do you see film of your games and able to critique what you've done and things you could do differently?
I am probably like this probably stays in between just you and me, but I'm a nerd when it comes to it. So like
Okay.
after practices, after games, like I'll watch stuff like, oh, like could I have done this better? Like what was I doing? And so for me specifically, like I'm always watching like what I could do better, or even like guys, I'm like, man, this guy's unreal. Like, what is he doing differently? Like, you can kind of tell different things, and seeing things in like real life is pretty difficult because like things happen so quick.
Absolutely.
Where like when you watch video, you're like, all right, replay, like rewind that. Like, let me see that again.
I got you. I mean, even when you're watching it on TV and watching the moves that some of these guys make, you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And you got to wait for the replay to come back. And you're like, holy crap, look what he just did. So I was always curious about that because you hear football players talk about watching film, and you talk pitchers talk about how they watch batters and stuff like that. So I'm always curious is it a like at the before you play a game, do you watch film on the goalie to see how he defends or anything like that? I mean, critiquing yourself, I fully understand.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if it goes as far as, hey, we're going to watch this goalie, see if he has any tendencies to do things or anything like that.
I haven't.
Okay.
I feel like there's a lot of benefit to that, where like my philosophy thing and like it's always been like driven into me where like you can only control what you can. So like, if you can critique yourself, then doesn't matter who you're playing against, who you're going to fight, like whatever. You can just do as well as you can and try to get better. So that's only my thing is I'll watch myself.
Yep. And I live by the motto, if you're not 2 steps ahead, you're behind.
Yeah.
And so you're always making yourself better as much as possible. So, well, Zach, I appreciate you. There we go. Put that closer. Yeah. See, I wish I had one of them.
What's that?
That's nice. I like it. But I want to say thank you for hanging out with us for a little bit. And I'm pulling for you to be in Mississippi next year. And if not in Mississippi, to see you playing in Mississippi at some point with whatever team you're on. And when you come into town, I'll come into town, and maybe we can, if you're in for a couple days, we can grab dinner or something.
Yeah, maybe hit one of the 12 casinos that are on Mississippi.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love it. So I'm from Biloxi, but I live in Pensacola, so I love going to the casinos. And when you're raised there, and you've been there since the casinos open, you've learned how to not gamble. You can go in and have a good time and not hit the slot machines or the craps table. But now that I live in Pensacola and I go over there every now and then, and if I go to a casino, I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to play because I haven't been here in a while. So, but I look forward to keeping an eye on where you're going to be at next year. And I hope we get to do this again and have a good time with it.
Thanks, boss. It was awesome talking to you. Nice meeting you. Thanks for having me on.
And for those of you that are watching the replay or listening to the audio podcast, the Benchwarmer now has a brand new website. Let me get to where I put it. It is right there. It's benchwarmer228.com. And of course, 228 is the area code of South Mississippi. So benchwarmer228.com. Check it out. You'll be able to see this video on there. and some other information, some news. You can catch the news from all the SeaWolf stuff. I get it on there as fast as I can. So, but Zach, good luck. And I'm pretty confident I'll see you next year. At some point next year, I'll see you.
Thanks, boss. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye.